It was a busy day at Brenham Docks. Carly and Cranky were talking as they were loading crates and other cargo. "So did you hear what happened down at the superstation?" asked Cranky. "Yes, I did," said Carly. "Apparently the villains have a few truck prisoners and Edward has been added to their army or whatever." "Quite a terrible thing to hear," said Cranky. Henry, who had just arrived with some flatbeds of logs, couldn't help but overhear. "I'm kinda worried," he said. "First the villains take Thomas, the number 1, as prisoner. Then they add Edward to their army and Edward is number 2. I'm worried I might be next since I'm number 3. I hope I don't get taken in as a prisoner or added to their army or something." "I'm sure nothing's going to happen to you," said Porter. "We're all going to look after you, Henry. We all have to look after each other. Things are getting quite bad now." "Anyway," said Henry, "I've brought these logs. Cranky, can you get them unloaded?" "I will once I can let go of this package," said Cranky. "Porter, do you have any room on your cargo cars for this?" "Nope," said Porter, "but I'll get a spare cargo car once Carly's done loading these crates." Nearby, Bulstrode was resting in his favorite resting spot at the docks, which was right next to the edge of a pier with some buffers at the edge. Although it wasn't the safest place to take a rest due to the risk of engines accidentally crashing through the buffers, Bulstrode usually didn't seem to mind. "Careful, you guys," said Bulstrode. "Oops, sorry." "Hey, Bulstrode," called Cranky. "Why don't you come over here and hold this package for a second while I unload Henry's logs?" "Okay," said Bulstrode, and he began to move over towards Cranky. But as Bulstrode moved over, a mysterious boat came up behind him and gave him a bump. Bulstrode lost control and crashed onto Carly's dock and smashed into the side of Porter's cargo cars. Carly was shocked. "Bulstrode," she said, "what did you do that for?" "It wasn't me," said Bulstrode. "It was that..." But Bulstrode's voice was drowned out by the sound of loud diesel horns, and into the docks came Spancan and Bowler, along with Tipper, Topple, and Tumble. "Hey, what are you guys doing here?" asked Porter. "We're here to collect cargo from a friend of ours named Melvin," said Spancan. "There's nobody here named Melvin," said Cranky. Yes there is," said the boat who had hit Bulstrode. "Hey," shouted Bulstrode, "why did you run into me and push me into the dock?" Because you were in my way, duh," said Melvin. "Melvin here is our friend," said Spancan, "and he's got some important cargo for us. He's got his own little crane arm on the back of him, so he'll be able to load the cargo into us. But we ask that you stupid steam engines clear the line here so we can be loaded up and gone as soon as possible." "Well, I'm not going to be able to get out of your way because your stupid friend Melvin caused an accident that got the track blocked," said Henry crossly. "Don't call me stupid," said Melvin, and he rammed into the track hard. Henry nearly tipped over. "Not cool, man," said Henry crossly. "Yeah," shouted Bash from over on the siding. "Who do you think you are? Yeah, you have no right to come into our docks and unload cargo for the villains." "What's going on over here?" called the Flying Scotsman as he backed up. "We could hear you all the way from the other side of the..." "Oh, it's you guys?" "Get out of here at once," said the Flying Scotsman. "You can roll around on the superstation rails, but we will not allow you to roam anywhere else here in the kingdom." "Melvin is going to be giving us a lot of cargo here for the next few days," said Topple. "So we suggest you let us come here and take our cargo. Otherwise, There will be consequences. What kind of consequences? Asked Cranky. Consequences like this, said Melvin, and he swung his hook around and grabbed a hold of Cranky. He then began to pull forward, and Cranky was slowly beginning to tip. No, 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 cried Cranky. Let go. Melvin did. But when Cranky touched the ground, he dropped the crate he was holding and it knocked Henry off the track. Anyone else want to tell us not to come here and unload and collect cargo? Asked Melvin. Everyone stared nervously at each other. Fine, said the Flying Scotsman. We will allow you to come here just to collect your cargo for as long as that will take, but we don't want you causing any more trouble while you're here. We will do whatever we want here, said Spankhand. Hey Melvin, come a little closer and try to load us up on that track. Okay, said Melvin. Wait, can you let us get out the siding first? No. Whoa! Bash and Dash were pushed backwards and ran into their trucks and pushed them off the end of the pier. The trucks sank to the bottom of the ocean. The engines were fuming, but they could do nothing about the bothersome boat that had come to work at the docks with the villains. The Flying Scotsman puffed back over to the other side of the docks. Did you guys hear or see anything that happened over there? He asked. We sure did, said Paxton. That Melvin be nothing but a scurvy brat, said Salty. That's right, said Ferdinand. Just then, a big blue tenor engine puffed into the docks with some cargo cars. Hey everybody, he said. Oh great, just when we thought things couldn't get any worse. Wait, what? What? No, I'm not here to cause trouble. He's right, said Scaredy. Vinny is a different engine now. After some of my truck friends saved him from having an accident back in the mainland kingdom, he kind of became a different engine. He's much better behaved. He's our friend now. You can trust him now. Oh, that's right. Harry and his friends did tell us that story, said Scotsman. Well, welcome back, Vinny. Glad to hear you're a better behaved engine now, but what exactly are you doing here? You weren't on the schedule to deliver any cargo. Well, I was on my way over here from the mainland kingdom, and I saw that a diesel named Derek had overheated. He asked me to take his trucks to the docks for him. Okay, said Salty, but that still doesn't answer the question on why exactly you're here. Shouldn't you be working in the mainland kingdom? Yeah, about that, said Vinny. Me and most of the other engines in the kingdom, we left the place. Why did you leave? Asked the Flying Scotsman. Well, Connor and Caitlin told us not too long ago that they had made the unprofessional decision to scrap Scaredy's parents and his siblings back when they were first built, because they didn't want to risk them causing any trouble. Me and the other engines, we were so upset by this decision, and I know that Scaredy got his family back and out of train heaven, but we still thought we needed to leave the kingdom for a while. We just didn't want to be with Connor and Caitlin after learning that they had made a stupid decision. Well, okay, said Paxton. We'll forgive them and go back to the kingdom eventually, said Vinny, but just not for a while. Okay again, said Paxton. So, what's happening here? What happened over there? Well, you see, said the Flying Scotsman, there's this new boat that just came in. His name is Melvin, and he's going to be bringing in cargo for the villains to be collecting. Oh dear, that's not nice, said Vinny. It isn't, said the Flying Scotsman. Well, I wish there was something I could do about this bothersome boat. We would prefer if you keep out of this, it's salty. We don't need a visitor like you getting caught in all this trouble. Yeah, said Paxton. Let's just hope that Melvin just comes in, brings his cargo, gives it to the villains, and causes no more trouble. But unfortunately, Melvin did the exact opposite. Since Henry had been damaged, Vinny had to take care of his goods trains until he came back from the works. Hey, you just put a big scrape on my nameplate. Oops, sorry Vincent. My name's not Vincent, it's Vinny. Sorry, I couldn't read your nameplate all that well because you scraped it. Ah, shut it, you, shouted Spancan as he and Bowler pulled in with their trucks. Soon the diesels and their trucks were loaded. Move it or lose it, Paxton. Whoa! Melvin almost always did something mean to the engines, but he was always picking on Bulstrode every time he came to the docks. Move it or lose it, Bulstrode. I need to rest for a while before I go back for more cargo. The torture and chaos went on for about a week. How much more cargo does your friend Melvin have left to deliver? Asked the Flying Scotsman. A lot, said Bowler. Goodbye. These superstation villains are bad enough, said Vinny, but that bothersome boat Melvin, he's such a jerk. Kind of reminds me of you when you first came here, said the Flying Scotsman. Well, at least I've changed my ways now, said Vinny, but I don't think Melvin will be doing that anytime soon. Oh, hey Bulstrode. Bulstrode, you okay, buddy? Asked the Flying Scotsman. No, said Bulstrode. That Melvin can't find anyone else to pick on. I never did anything to him, and yet he thinks I'm the best one to play tricks on and be mean to. Well, Bulstrode, I guess what I've got to say is, don't let that boat push you around. You gotta stand up to him, show him who's boss. That is the best and pretty much only way to deal with a bully. Well, okay, I guess I'll give it a try tomorrow, said Bulstrode. The next morning, Bulstrode came to the docks and waited for the drawbridge to race up. He could see a coal train on the track nearby. One of the trucks was Fred. Hey guys, he said, did you hear that Vinny's back on Sodor? Vinny, said the truck behind him. Yeah, Vinny, said Fred. He's going to be pulling us today. What do you say we give him a bump and relive old times? I'd say we push him down the siding, said the truck in the front. There's no bumpers there, so he could easily fall into the ocean. The trucks were paying no attention to Bulstrode, who was listening in on the whole plan. This gave him an idea. Thanks again, Melvin, said Bowler as he and Spancan left with the goods. No problem, said Melvin. Alright, Bulstrode, it's that time again. Move out of my resting spot. Oh, sure thing, said Bulstrode, and he quickly rushed away. Melvin backed up into Bulstrode's resting spot. Vinny had seen the whole thing and was shocked that Bulstrode didn't do what he had suggested, but he didn't have time to talk to Bulstrode. He needed to go collect his coal train. Vinny turned around and backed up to his train. He didn't know it was the same cars that had pushed him off the rails the first time he came to Sodor. Vinny blew his whistle and began to puff over the drawbridge. The trucks saw their chance. "Now!" shouted Fred, and the trucks pushed Vinny over the points and down the siding. Vinny quickly lost control and rounded the bend. Straight ahead was the end of the line where the buffer still hadn't been put back in. "Help!" cried Vinny, but it was too late. Whoa! Vinny crashed into Melvin's open hole, and his trucks quickly piled up and spilled coal everywhere. Whoa! "We did it!" cheered the trucks. "But Vinny didn't exactly crash into the ocean," said the spiteful brakeman. Even though the plan hadn't gone exactly the way they had hoped, the trucks were still glad they had managed to cause an accident. Melvin was very cross. "What's the big idea?" he said. "Oh dear," said Bulstrode as he pulled up. "I heard a commotion and came to see what had happened. I'm sure glad I wasn't sitting there." Melvin realized what had happened. "Oh, you knew this was going to happen," he said. "That's why you let me take your spot so quickly. You knew the trucks were going to push this big, stupid thing off the rails. You knew they were going to crash, so that's why you let me sit here." Everyone laughed at Melvin's misfortune. Soon the rescue crew arrived to clean up the mess. Melvin's hull had been heavily damaged, and he was not going to be able to deliver cargo for the villains for quite a while. This made him very upset. Just be glad those trucks that Bash and Dash accidentally knocked into the ocean were still sunk at the bottom of Bulstrode's resting spot, said Carly. "Otherwise, there would have been nothing to keep you from sinking all the way under the water." Vinny had also been damaged in the accident, and the Flying Scotsman was taking him to the works. As they began to leave the docks, Vinny asked the Flying Scotsman to stop near Bulstrode. "Sorry about your accident," said Bulstrode. "Hey, it's alright, man," said Vinny. "At least you showed that boat bully who's boss." "Yep, I guess I did," said Bulstrode. "I'm sure he'll think twice before trying to pick on me now." "I guess there's more than one way to deal with a bully," said Vinny, and the two new friends laughed happily.